justice today.
We are glad to have you back on Sport Updates. Today we'll be discussing much about world of football. But before then, let me quickly take you around our world of tennis. Emma Raducanu, Madrid, Rome, and Roland Garros will all be testing for U.S. Open champions. A tennis commentator Baron Khan says Clay will be the hardest part of the year for Emma Raducanu. Although he wants outdoors dirty, will be different challenge in Madrid and Rome. But can the teenager achieve a feat in Paris at the French Open? It begins on May 2022. Emma Raducanu will have some difficult hurdles to overcome on clay as she prepared for Madrid, Rome, and French Open tennis commentator Baron Khan says. Raducanu weighs up to 11 in the world ranking, enjoy back-to-back wins on clay at the Porsche Tennis Grand Prix in Stuttgart last week before putting in an oddly encouraging performance in debut to world #1 against Start-Week. She will continue her clay court baptism in Madrid this week, and with Leigh Bartels, who is head of women's tennis at the LTA, joining the setup following her split from German coach Toban Bartels. Stuttgart was really a positive week for Emma to win a couple of matches when she was the overwhelming first favorite, and then to make it a competitive match against Swiss. It was on a clay, but it was indoors, Khan explains to Sky Sports. Indoor clay plays totally different to outdoor clay. She's got some tough conditions coming up. This is coming from a U.S. commentator, Baron Khan says. Emma Raducanu, Madrid, Rome, and Roland Garros will be a testing for U.S. Open. And let me quickly take us to the world of WWE, where we have a lot of thrilling stories. We have a result coming up with Ricky Steven Appiah's territorial handicap. We have matches, spring breaking, building more. When we are giving you an update, Nikita Lyons versus Last Legend. We immediately see Nikita Lyons walking backstage at Fans Hall. The music hits and out come Lyons to the ring now as fans cheers are on. Last Legend is our next. Lash rushes the ring and they start brawling before the bell rings. The bell hits and here we go. They keep brawling at fans chant for Leon as Legend levels with her with the boots and gets the upper hand. Leon come back with the two sprays and strike for Apple. Leon's pose while sitting top of the Legend. That is the top stories coming from the WWE. Let me quickly take us back to some of the updates we have in the Nigerian Professional Premier Leagues. Yesterday, in the Nigerian Professional Premier Leagues, the Sunshine Stars of Akure was defeated by 1-0. That is the club my producer is supporting. My producer, MC Harmony, is supporting the Sunshine Stars of Akure, who were defeated by 1-0. Before then, let me quickly take us to the Waffle Under-17, which is coming up this month. We have 100 players Tommy Eagles screenings as Ugbade prepare for Wafu Under-17 tournament. The Golden Eaglets on Wednesday begin screening in preparations for the Under-17 Wafu tournament in Ghana under the supervision of new coach Unduka Ogbadi. The Wafu tournament will serve as the qualifier for the 2023 Under-17 AFCON in Nigeria and will take place in Cape Coast, Ghana from June 11 to June 24, 2022, and only two finalists of the tournament will qualify for the Under-17 AFCON. Nigerian Golden Eaglets are Group A self-made history when he captained the country to the win the inaugural Under-17 World Cup champion in China back in 1985, a whopping 37 years ago. The Golden Eaglets, who are 5 times world champion, will be in Ghana in June for sub-regional tournament that will serve as qualifier for the 2023 Under-17 African Cup of Nations, which will be hosted by Algeria. Tolulope Emmanuel, Under-17 Wafu is coming up, which is a stepping stones for young lads to make their names and qualify for the AFCON of Under-17, which will be coming on in Nigeria. What do you have to say with Coach Unduka Ogbadi?
Well, from this case of soccer in Nigeria, we've always not been having much of a challenge. What do I mean by that? That has always been an easy ride for the Golden Eaglets whenever they are playing, either in the home scene or in the continent, and even when they go outside the continent of Africa, they've always been represented very well when it comes to this cadre of soccer. And the Golden Eaglet have proven it over the years. I think in the last, I think they are the current leaders when it comes to championship or
Exactly.
champion of.
We've always
I
had
think
a
they've
taste
won
of
about
glory with
five
the Golden
ahead. So
Eaglets.
it's always an easy ride for us. So I wouldn't see any exception this time around coming from Obede, and want to see them again becoming the champion of the world again. Although this is just a stepping stone to becoming the champion. At least they have to play in the African scene before they advance finally. So I wouldn't say any challenge.
Shanta Stars of Akure, who were defeated yesterday, had 36 points, sitting on the 7th log. Gombe United are sitting on the 3 team, which is battling with the relegation, is Lobby Stars with 26 points, Atlant Football Club of Iwere with 25 points, and Mountain of Fire Ministry with 23 points are sitting. These are 3. Atululokwe, I would like us to discuss about Eyimbas and Kano Pillars. Kano Pillars sitting on the 17th on games.
Well, I wouldn't say there's anything wrong with these two sides, because over the years we've known Enyimba, Enugu Rangers and Kano Pillars to be one of the best sides when it comes to the NPFL in Nigeria. And but there's something so unique about this season, where there have been much of away wins compared to previous seasons, and the form and the right of forms of this improvement, although there are still some lapses when it comes to officiating and fans disrupting matches and the likes. We still have some. Okay, recently Kano Pillars was banished from their home stadium. That's Aminu Kano. Improve a lot and own clubs and they are still doing very well, but Enyimba, I'm still very sure probably it was due to distraction of the continent games they played earlier in the
Teams are winning a lot of matches. Let me quickly take another stories. Lukman and Iheanacho look to help Leicester secure a first leg advantage in the Europa Conference League semi-finals taking place with AS Roma. The duo of Nigerian attackers Kelechi Iheanacho and Ademola Lukman 180 minutes away from qualifying to the European Conference League final as Leicester look to make further histories. Leicester and Roma will begin their fight for the place in the Europa Conference. 30 minutes to play more. Madison slotted into the top corner from Jose Perez. Caught back from Ricardo Pereira. Fired the winner in the 88th minute to seal a memorable win at Philips Stadium for a 2-1 aggregate result. With a run of 3 winnerless Premier League games ending their chance for qualifying for the Euro. Winning the UEFA European Conference League is Leicester's only hope of playing on the Continental for a 3rd season in a row. Lukman, who had a hand in Leicester winning goal versus PSV, took 2 weeks ago after replacing Avi Banis, has registered 8 goals and 5 assists in 37 games in all competition for the Fox. Iheanacho on his part has also been quite brilliant with the 25-year-old final positions. Leicester, on the other hand, are set to be without a Nigerian midfielder Wilfred Ndidi and defender Brian Bertrand, while Johnny Evans and Bukeri Sumari are also not expected to be featured versus Roma. So look, let's discuss about the semi-final coming up against Leicester City and AS Roma. This is the chance which Leicester City got to make it back to the Europe, and this is the first ever UEFA European Conference League coming up, and this is one of the thrilling matches people are going to watch out for.
Well, being the first and maiden edition of Europa Conference League, it's
with PSV
drew or
and
lost.
And don't you think this will be an added advantage to AS Roma? But before then, let me quickly bring the news which Jose Mourinho says Roman is not favourite to beat Leicester. I quite understand.
That's
Mourinho at Leicester in today European Conference League semi-final, and Mourinho will face Foxball's Brendan Rodgers, having worked together in the past with Chelsea. He said, "We had a lot of fun together and we had friends. Even if obviously football takes you in different direction, he's fine coach with the bright futures ahead of him." Leicester dropped down into this tournament from the Europa League, whereas this is our 13th Conference League games. We've paid for it in Syria by dropping points, having played on Thursday and then Saturday, Sunday. Teams with 30 players, all of the same level, can rotate and all with points. But it didn't have that. The advantage Leicester is they don't need is always known for these all his days from Chelsea Football Club of England and Tottenham.
Leicester City are being moved by this saying from Joseph Philip Mourinho. I think they are planning to fail, and they will not make it even right at their home turf, because this guy, okay, the current form of Roma, both in their league and in the UEFA Conference League, had been brilliant enough, and it's and this is a chance for you to play in the final, and which will also advance you to the next stage in the continental scene next season. So I think they have to give their best in these fixtures, probably win at King Power Stadium, and if there's a way you can manage
the stadium,
yes, I think it would be a plus on their part. So every chances that come their way, they should maximize these chances.
A lot of good job for taking Leicester City so far in this tournament. Let's quickly take another news from Nigeria. This one is coming up as regards the Super Eagles of Nigeria. Agawa Chukwu laments the late appointment of new Super Eagles coach ahead of 2023 AFCON qualifiers. Recall that the AFCON qualifier drawn have been made. Ex-Nigerian international Julius Agwawad and former Eagles coach Christian Chukwu have lamented the delay in the appointment of new technical advisor for the Super Eagles. Interim coach Austin Agwafor and his technical crew were relieved of their duties after they have failed to qualify for the 2022 FIFA World Cup last month coming up in Qatar. The Nigerian Football Federation, NFF, resolved to settle for a foreigner managers and its technical committees as recommended for coaches to the Federation 4 weeks now. Qualifier for the 2023 African Cup of Nations, AFCON, is scheduled to commence next month with the Super Eagles drawn in Group A alongside Sierra Leone, Guinea-Bissau, and Mauritius. Either win between Mauritius and Sao Tome and Principe. Speaking in an interview with Complete Sport on Wednesday, Agwawa said Nigerians who are worried by the silence of the NFF on the appointment of a new coach. Joseph positions. The former Shakhtar Donetsk player stated that the delay may also affect the preparations of the national teams for the qualifier. It is the opinion of everyone. We are all looking forward to the early preparations for the tournament 2023 AFCON qualifier. So if we do not get ready on time, if we don't get somebody to handle the team in time, it can also affect the team during preparation. So the earlier the better, is stated. Also, former Super Eagles coach Christian Football should knows what is happening. They have named what is delaying the proceeding of naming a new coach for the Super Eagles. That is how we will not qualify for the AFCON again, coach. Don't you see this will have a very bad effect on the Super Eagles of Nigeria, because we've known we are going to play a qualifier and the draft made, and presently we don't have a coach for the Super Eagles of Nigeria.
It's quite unfortunate where we find ourselves this time around. As in earlier on, I said it's a big mistake to have sacked Genatura prior to the commencement of African Cup of Nations some months back. And up to now, we don't have who will be succeeding this guy. Okay, initially we had Passero will be coming to manage the side. And all of a sudden, we saw the names of Austin Aguavon to to undo this side to the African Cup of Nations, and we saw the result at the end. And even at the World Cup qualifiers again, we know the results we have already. Rebellious act and mischievous and pranky-panky and politicizing soccer has caused us this much. So just a qualifier is coming up now, and up to now we don't have who will be managing our darling Super Eagles of Nigerian team. It's quite unfortunate, and as Agwawa and Chukwu have said, as a patriotic Nigerians and lover of soccer, and they know what is at stake.
And someone who have actually benefited from the team.
Of course, they've been part of this team before now. Okay, as a player and as a manager, they know what is at stake. And few months to qualifiers now, we don't have a manager who be, although
a lot of friendly matches should have been played, a lot of trainings
course,
and the likes. We should know the kind of player we will call to the team.
Two fixtures are already been booked for the Super Eagles of Nigeria. That's against Mexico and I think Canada, or which other side again. But the point still remains: who would be handling this team? A few months back, we had few weeks back, we had. There have been 4 men who had been shortlisted for this team. That's Laurent Blanc, Parceiro,
Bukalkos, and the likes.
And I think about 2 weeks ago, a week ago, NFF recommended Parceiro for...
Even before the African Cup of Nations, Parceiro was actually declared
I already mentioned
as the head coach.
Now, that he's going to follow them to the African Cup of Nations, but just
and then take over after the African Cup of Nations.
But it's quite unfortunate. So, again, 2 weeks ago, last week, this guy was also recommended to the sport ministry and sport minister own coach that he doesn't want the foreign manager.
Sometimes I've always been preaching something that at this end, let's try it as something from our home. Because we could see a lot of African teams, the likes of Egypt, the likes of Ghana, the likes of Cameroon, Senegal.
Yeah.
They are still working with their local coach, and this
it's giving them results.
And it is giving them results. Okay, let's quickly take our trip to the Heroes, and I'm landing at the Old Trafford with Ralph Rangnick. 6 Manchester United player ruled out of Chelsea clash. Manchester United will be without 6 players when they host Chelsea in Thursday Premier League's fixtures. United manager Ralph Rangnick disclosed this during his pre-match conference on Wednesday evening. Rangnick revealed that Fred will not make the game as he's still not fully recovered from his hip flexor problem. It disclosed that Harry Maguire and Jordan Sancho's have also been added to the absentee list, which already included Cavani, Paul Pogba, and Luke Shaw. I think to some Manchester United fans, they will be happy that Harry Maguire is not playing. Fred is unfortunately not yet available, as Rangnick told reporters. I tried to train yesterday, but after training, he had long conversations with him, and he just told me that he doesn't feel fully fit enough to play 100% with a player like Fred, who is always committed to give his very best. I don't think it makes sense with the muscular injury that he had to play him too early, because that could mean we take the rates of the injuries, and this is something that I don't want to do, so he won't be available, unfortunately, for the clash today. And apart from that, we have the captain, Harry Maguire, who is not available. He has some issues with his nails and not a big thing. Some niggles in his knee, hasn't been training, and neither yesterday or today. Paul, obviously Fred, Edalson, Luke Shaw, and Jordan. Jordan is ill. Final 3 victories of the season. Well, he should be back in training on Fridays, which means tomorrow, so that after the Chelsea game, according to the team doctor, and then we'll have to see, said Ralph Rangnick. He has been out for quite some plays on 54 points and at 6 points, a draft of 4 plays currently occupied by the Arsenal, and I think Manchester United is not going to play in the UEFA Champions League next season. If care is not taken, they will also lose out on the Europa League. To look where Manchester United will be without Luke Shaw, Jordan Sancho's, Paul Pogba's, and Fred and Harry Maguire.
Well, Things like this is not far-fetched when it comes to the end of the season. You have players having injuries, fatigue, illness, and the likes. And so at this point in time, that has also added to the misfortunes of Manchester United, losing their captain, Luke Shaw, Jadon Sancho, and some guys like that. So when I saw the updates, I think yesterday night, it's quite alarming that they will be playing with their old legs, and these guys who have been putting more effort. But I think it should be Manchester United. Although I was hearing the news this morning when Ralf Rangnick was saying he's tired of the thing because he has adopted and used every method he felt he can use to bring back Manchester young and talented kids, right? Probably from their team B or from the academic team. So I think these guys will put in their effort, and you never can tell how they will be able to.
Unai Emery, the manager of Villarreal, said he have interest in Emmanuel Dennis of Watford. Villarreal managers, Unai Emery is interested in bringing Watford Emmanuel Dennis to Spain. The Dennis linked up with Watford last summer from a Belgian Pro League side, which is Club Brugge, and has been outstanding in the first campaign of the Premier League. Watford paid €3 million to secure the service of Nigerian, but he is now valued at over 6 times than the amount he was brought to the Watford. The 24-year-old has scored 10 goals for the Hornets, and according to the London Evening Standard, interest in his signature is now growing ahead of the summer transfer window. Watford want to keep hold of the striker, but they are currently sat in 19 in the table with 5 games to go and are braced for beat if they get relegated back to the champions. Dennis is being tracked by clubs around Europe and is particularly of interest to Villarreal, who has been scouting him this season. Do you think it is high time for Emmanuel Dennis to leave Watford and go and meet with Unai Emery?
Well, for Emery to have wanted the service of Emmanuel Dennis, I think he has found something so unique and outstanding about this guy. So for Dennis, all he has is to, if eventually he departs Watford, well, he has to prove himself that, yes, he really deserves being called out of Watford. But left for me, I will have still advised this guy to stay put right in England. I mean, with stick with Watford and play a season and prove and establish yourself again. You might be playing well in England, and once you go to Spain,
then it's another ball games entirely. Yesterday, Villarreal against Liverpool, it was 2-0, which one of the African players also make a record yesterday, which is Sadio Mane. He already established the record of Didier Drogba for scoring 14 goals in the UEFA Champions League and knockout stage. Do you see Liverpool progressing after defeating Villarreal by 2-0 at their own turf at the Anfield Stadium?
I think that fixture is sealed and delivered already on the part of Liverpool. Although we cannot write off Villarreal and
because actually we see what happens against Bayern Munich.
Of course, even let's forget about UEFA Champions League now. I think 5, 6, or 7 seasons ago, Villarreal and Liverpool, they've played in the Europa League, and I think twice Liverpool have been defeated by Villarreal, although it was not managed by Unai Emery then. But this time around, okay, sorry, it was Sevilla. Sevilla when
even Unai Emery has a very good tracking. He has a very good tracking record when it comes to European football.
So that's another point I want us to look into, because Unai Emery, it's a kind of manager, he's a reserved manager. You want to watch and observe very well before he approach a game. So, but like I've said, I wouldn't see Liverpool losing that 2-goal advantage already, although they might lost at Villarreal Stadium, but I still see them advancing to the next round. Probably they played a 1-1 draw